Good evening. President Trump hosting top oil executives at the White House today. They're discussing returning to Venezuela. This all to rebuild its oil infrastructure following the capture of former dictator Nicolás Maduro. We go now live to NTD's Washington correspondent Mari Otsu, who's live at the North Lawn of the White House. Mari, good evening.
Steve, good evening. That's right. Less than a week after Operation Absolute Resolve, the White House is vowing to restore Venezuela after over 2 decades of economic and political collapse under a socialist regime. And President Trump saying today that top oil companies will invest at least $100 billion in Venezuela to rebuild its oil infrastructure. And here's what some of those top oil executives had to say sitting around President Trump in the East Room today. Take a look.
The message that you have sent to China and our enemies to stay out of our backyard is absolutely fantastic. So thank you.
I think your big and bold idea to use energy commerce instead of conflict is something that could make a real big difference in Venezuela. And our company certainly stands ready to help in that endeavor.
President Trump announcing 30 million barrels of Venezuelan oil were given to the U.S. Thursday, and the U.S. is immediately beginning to refine and sell up to 50 million barrels of that oil. This coming as the president says the U.S. and Venezuela's interim authorities seized another oil tanker departing Venezuela.
We have an armada, a giant armada like nobody's ever seen in that part of the world, and it's stationed off the coast.
That's the 5th oil tanker this month, and President Trump says its oil will be sold through this energy deal. The Trump administration saying they have very different leverage post-capture of former Venezuelan dictator Nicolás Maduro, that the capture changed Venezuela's conditions to incentivize businesses to return.
So they stole from us, and it was taken by socialists and communists at the time, and Venezuela was going bad, really bad. One thing I think everyone has to know is that if we didn't do this, China or Russia would have done it.
Meanwhile, President Trump drawing attention to the bigger picture, repeating his call to take Greenland.
It's also very big for national security because, again, just like Greenland, we can't have China or Russia occupy Greenland. We can't have China or Russia occupy Venezuela.
And predicting Cuba's downfall.
They've made a choice, and that is they would rather have political control over their people than they would to have an economy that functions. And they've gotten away with it for 60-something years because they've had donors, the Soviet Union, and now most recently Venezuela. But that's now gone. So the people in control in Cuba have a choice to make. They can either have a real country with a real economy where their people can prosper, or they can continue with their failing dictatorship that's going to lead to systemic and societal collapse.
And as President Trump doubles down on his national security strategy of vowing to fix up any countries serving as hubs for American adversaries, today he announces he'll be meeting with Colombia's Gustavo Petro at the White House during the first week of February, while in the same breath warning Petro that cocaine and other drugs must be stopped from coming into the U.S. And President Trump also says that he'll be meeting with the Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Machado sometime next week. Machado this week has been saying that she wants to give President Trump her Nobel Peace Prize for liberating her country. Steve, back to you.
Mari Otsu, live from the White House. Thank you, Mari.